Hello everyone, myself Piyush Joshi, Senior Consultant Informatica. Today we are going to discuss about CDI-PC repository assessment and conversion of assets to CDI. So agenda of the day is assessment of repository and conversion of assets post assessment of the repository. There are prerequisites for the assessment of the repository. One of the major prereq is that we should have a common shared path which is accessible by the domain machine and the secure agent both, and it should have a directory structure as displayed here: shared path slash domain display name slash repository name slash template. The domain display name is the name which you have given during the registration of the domain on the IDMC platform while installing the CDI-PC, slash the repository name which you are assessing slash templates. This path should have read, write and execute permission to the user with which you have started the Informatica domain on the domain servers, as well as the secure agent technical user. Place all the parameter files in the zip file, all the PC parameter files that should be clubbed and zipped in a zip file with the name PC underscore parameter underscore zip.zip. Make sure the name should be specific as it is written here. If you are migrating to any other endpoint, for example, you had your target system as Oracle in Power Center, but with modernization now you are also migrated your target system from Oracle to Snowflake. In such cases, you have to also configure PC to cloud underscore user underscore input.xls. These files are present under the secure agent installation path, infra agent, downloads, package, version, package, templates, location. You can take the files from this path and copy to the shared path templates folder and configure them. Once the configuration of the files is done, all the prereqs are met, then we can go to IDMC platform and click on the cloud data integration for Power Center chiclet. Once you go to the explore page on CD cloud data integration for Power Center page, you see a drop down on the explore page. Here you can see domains, repositories and conversion tasks. Since we are going to do assessment of the repositories, you should click on repositories and it will list out all the repositories registered under that domain. Now, once you have all the prereqs met, we just need to click on the assess now. So this will open a form for us, where we need to provide few details, a shared folder location, whichever the shared folder we created in the prereqs, you should provide that path. If you have the parameter zip file, in that case you should check this box. If the parameter files are not present, then you can leave it as is, unchecked. If you're migrating to a different endpoint and you have the PC user input XLS configured, in that case you should check the second box, migrate to a different endpoints. Please note that these two are optional fields, so if you have not configured them or you are not moving to a different endpoints, in that case you do not need to check these boxes. Next would be runtime environment. You should select your corresponding runtime environment from the drop down. Once you have done this, click on validate. When you click on validate and if all the details are proper, then validation is successful and you will see a message like this, as well as the start assessment tab will be accessible for execution. Once the validation is successful, you can click on start assessment and a message with assessment of repository started successfully will appear, and you can see the execution is in progress. You can also check the status in My Jobs tab. When you click on My Jobs, it will show the details of the job. Once the repository is assessed successfully, you will see something like this, where the domain under the domain, the repository is visible on the page, and then it is shown as successfully assessed with the assets which are automated and which are partial, and few are manual. When you click on the repository, you can see inside there are 3 folders, and each one has different number of assets. And for each folder or assets, you can see what are the assessment results. So the green ones are convertible automatically, yellow ones are partially convertible, and gray ones are manually convertible. Please make sure at this point it is just an assessment. There is no conversion which is taking place. So automated means the conversion process will convert it automatically. When you click, the conversion will completely convert the assets. Partial means the conversion will convert, but in CDI you still need to do some manual configuration. And manual assets are the ones which are not convertible by the converter utility, and you need to create them manually in CDI. You can download the assessment report from the tab here visible, and you can reassess as well. Moving on to conversion process. The conversion process can start only once the repository is assessed. Once the repository is assessed, then we can convert the components within the repository. For that, there are also some prerequisites. There are 3 files which we need to configure: connection master.xlsx, conversion properties.properties, and XML preprocess config.file. Connection masters contains the connection information between the PC connections and the corresponding ISS connection. Conversion underscore properties.properties file has some standard properties, session level or workflow level, which you might want to change if you require to, and if you do not want, then the set of default properties will be used for the conversion. XML preprocess config is also, there are some things which you want to change at a PC XML level before converting them to CDI. In that case, you can configure the XML preprocess config.xls as well. Once you have all these all these files configured, then you need to place these files on the shared path, domain display name, repository name /templates folder. You can find these files on the secure agent templates location, which is described in the assessment process prereq slide. Once the repository is assessed, when you go inside the folders, you can see the list of workflows present in that folder. And you can also see the assessment results. Like here, you can see workflow 1 is automated, workflow 2 is partial. What it means is workflow 1 is convertible 100% by the conversion tool, and workflow 2 is convertible by conversion tool. However, there is a slight chance that there may be some manual configuration required from the developers in the CDI to validate it. So let's say we want to convert workflow 1 and workflow 2. We select them and click on new conversion task from selected items. It opens a new conversion task. We need to configure few things here, like the name of the task, description, the location in CDI where this will be converted, and runtime environment. Click next. It will go to workflows tab, where you can see the workflows which are part of this conversion task. You can save and close for now if you do not want to do the conversion right away, and you can resume it back once you have time, or you can save and run, which will trigger the conversion process immediately. Let's click save and run. You can see the job running status in my job section. It's a conversion task on this location with the status as in progress. Once the conversion task completes successfully, you can see the details. The status shows as successful. From the drop down, you can see what all the workflows are part of this conversion process. And for each workflow, what are the assets, mapping and session which are converted. You can also download the logs from download all part, or if you want to reconvert, you can also do a restart. Once the conversion process is completed successfully, you can go to data integration and verify whether the assets are converted properly or not. So here you see workflow 2 and workflow 1 and corresponding mapping and sessions are also converted in the location which we defined in the conversion task. So this is how the conversion process works, and you can see your assets, converted assets in data integration. And from now here onwards, the developers and testers can proceed with their validation and testing. Thank you very much.